Hey, Crystal. I thought the best way to help you with this problem is just to kind of work it out and talk through it. So on the right, I actually have the problem you sent me, and so it has all the correct answers in it. And I'm guessing you can see those correct answers. So what you need is help sort of explaining why or how. So we'll start with the direct materials budget, and it tells us right at the beginning that here's our projected production: 350, 360, 600, and 400 kits. So that's our budgeted kits to be produced: 350, 360, 600, and 400. And then our direct materials cost per kit is given to us. Let's see. Oops, let me scroll up so that you can see the thing I'm looking. Here we go. So our direct materials cost per kit is $9. So that's the same. So our direct materials needed for production, which I can see that you already got this when you worked it out, it's just the number of kits times the cost per kit. And then our desired direct materials and ending inventory is given to us right up here. So beginning raw materials inventory is $600, and the company desires to end each quarter with 30% of the materials needed for the next quarter's production. So in essence, what we have to do to figure that out is to take, so this cell is going to equal the next quarter's production times 30% or 0.3. And that's where that 972 comes from. So for quarter two, we're going to take quarter three's production times 0.3, or 30% of that. For quarter three, we'll say that's quarter four production times 30%. Of course, once I have that formula, I could just fill it. Now, there's no way for us to do quarter fours unless it tells us. Let's see. They desire a balance of 600 in the raw materials inventory at the end of the fourth quarter. So it tells us, it gives us that number, 600. So our total direct materials needed is just our direct materials needed for production plus any desired ending inventory of direct materials. I'm just going to use the fill tool to carry that formula over. And then less the direct materials in beginning inventory. So we'll have to look up here and let's see. So the beginning raw materials inventory is 600. And then we should be able to look and say the projected ending inventory for the first quarter is the same as the beginning inventory for the second quarter, right? So whatever you have left over at the end of one quarter becomes the beginning inventory the next quarter. So I'm just going to say this equals the ending inventory of quarter one. And then I'm going to use my tool to fill that. So our budgeted purchases of direct materials will be the total direct materials needed minus what we have in beginning inventory. So think of the logic of what's happening here. We're saying, all right, so how much do we need for production? Plus, how much do we need left over when we're done? And then minus anything we had to start with will tell us the amount we actually need to purchase. I see a spelling error that's going to bug me. Budgeted. All right, so for our totals, we would just add up. But this one is $9, right? Each kit costs $9, so it's not a total of everything. Our direct materials needed is going to be a total. And actually, we can do that, add all those up, or we could do 9 times that, and it would still work either way. But when we get down to ending inventory and beginning inventory numbers, those numbers are absolute numbers, meaning we don't add them all up. If we have 600 at the end of quarter four, then our ending inventory at the end of the fourth quarter will be $600. Our direct materials needed, we will total up from each quarter. beginning of the inventory, or beginning direct materials in beginning inventory will be $600. That's the amount that's there at the beginning. And then our budgeted direct materials, hold on. I've got something weird. Oh, I did this wrong. So this column would be direct materials needed for production, $15,390 plus the $600 desired and ending inventory. And then our budgeted purchase of direct materials would be the total direct materials needed minus the materials and ending inventory. So there's our direct materials budget. So next, once we've done that, we're ready to move on to our direct labor budget. It looks like you got most of that, but I'll go through it anyway. So we know our budgeted kits to be produced. We got that up here. It was actually given to us at the beginning of the problem. And then our direct labor hours per unit is given to us. Each kit requires 0.25 hours of direct labor. So then we can figure out our direct, whoops, I put things in the wrong rows. Sorry about that. There we go. So our direct labor hours needed for production is going to be the number of kits budgeted to be produced times the direct labor hours per unit. And our total will be the sum of all of those. Whoops. The sum of all of those. Our direct labor cost per hour is given to us at $30 per hour. And again, we don't add all those up. It's a per hour, so it's 30. And then our budgeted direct labor cost will equal the number of hours needed for production times the cost per hour. And there we go. There's our direct labor budget. So the last part is our manufacturing overhead budget. So again, we start with budgeted kits to be produced, which we already have right here. So I'm just going to copy that and paste it. And our variable overhead cost per kit is given to us at, variable overhead is 60 cents per kit. So our budgeted variable overhead is going to be the number of kits times the variable overhead cost per kit. Our budgeted fixed overhead, it tells us, is $175 per quarter. And that's the same all the way across. So for the whole quarter, it'd be the sum, or for the whole year, it'd be the sum of each of the 4 quarters. So then our budgeted manufacturing overhead costs will equal our budgeted variable overhead plus our budgeted fixed overhead. There we go. So then to figure out our predetermined overhead rate, we just take our direct labor hours, which we had right up here. So I'm just going to copy these and paste them right here. Whoops. Since it's calculated, I'll have to copy them. Then I'll have to do a paste special that will allow me just to paste the values. Then our budgeted manufacturing overhead costs, which we figured out right here. That's our total. I could just also do a formula equals, right, and say this cell equals that cell. That would let me still use this as a, you know, if I had other numbers to put in there. So if we know our direct labor hours and our budgeted manufacturing overhead costs, then to find our predetermined overhead allocation rate, we just take the budgeted manufacturing overhead costs divided by the direct labor hours. and it's going to give us $4.04 in manufacturing overhead to be allocated per direct labor hour. So I hope that was helpful to you. I went through it pretty fast, but it's a recording, so if you need to, you can kind of stop it and rewatch it or slow it down if you need to. If that still doesn't help, let me know, and I will do my best. We can meet on the phone or online or even face-to-face, whatever works best for you. So have a great day, and good luck.